Hi. So today I just gonna go over how basically gonna teach y'all how to do the NOS. Well, the NOS rate. Well, basically it's the NOS rate scale in the vocabulary definition card strategy for my portfolio. So for this one, I decided to do this one on more on the types of functions because it's easy to define those types of functions and also easy to go over what are the types of functions in this case. So this is the activity I would have my students work on. So this is based on the direction. Their direction would be to fill out the vocabulary definition card for each of the following functions. They're gonna rate each one from 1 to 4, where 1 means they haven't heard this term before, or they never seen before, or it will go up to 4 where they know the term and they be able to define it in this case. They also have to be able to provide their own explanations, descriptions, drawing, and be able to explain the reason why they were scored score why they would chose the brand they would pick in this case. Since we're not going to teach it directly, I just made examples of what it could possibly be for a student who are filling out these cards. I did like 4 of these out to show the difference between how their how the rates will be different after each one. So like the first one would be for the term like linear algebra because that's the easy term that like a student would actually know part since we heard multiple times in every math courses in this case. So the student might rate as a 4, they heard the term before, well, the heard this type of function before, and they be able to define it in this case. So the student might say like, oh, this is a function that has a degree of 0 and 1, which is true because not all functions can be in line, be straight lines. So like horizontal, vertical, lean, yeah, horizontal, vertical, and then you have the regular straight line in this case. And the example could be like they just draw the actual stand for other linear functions in this case. And the student might put on their response and say like they heard this term multiple times in their math course and be able to define and draw it in this case. Okay, so basically this is what happens when a student will be more understand when a term they already heard and already know by heart in this case. And this might be helpful to teachers where they know that the student, if the student knows they don't have to worry about go over, reteach it as multiple times and they need to. This is something like they just say like, okay, the student might be able to get through this and we can move on to the next subject. So the next one would be a case where a student would, let's say the student did not know what a rational function is. A rational function is definitely more harder because the student never heard it and more on the upper level in this case. So this is where a case where the student might not know what a rational function is. And they might say like a rational function might be a fraction as a coefficient, which is true, but it's not the case where you talk about rational functions. And that's where the drawing would show like, let's say it was y equal 1 for x plus 2. It's not rational because it's not technically what a rational function is. Because rational function is just being 1 over x in this case. So this is more in terms of the student might know linear, still stuck in the idea of linear functions in this case. And they going to write their explanations, they're going to say like they never heard this term before. So that means we're going to have to be able to teach rational function in a more clear line, or this is where students will struggle more in this case. This is where teachers are going to have to spend more time on showing them what a rational function is, how to define rational function, go over the properties of rational functions. So that way they will be able to define more clearly in this case. And the next one will be, let's say a student heard a root function before, or they might have an idea what a root function is, but they're not exactly sure what it might be, because a student might say like, it's a function that has a root, which is kind of true because all root functions has a root, but it's not always the case because you don't know exactly it will be, well, I'm not saying it's not always the case, but you want to clarify it's just not always going to be with the root, because like not all root functions long day to sorry, y'all. But you just basically saying like they have an idea what a word function is, but they just don't know the actual clarification of the definition. So basically, they would say their explanation. I heard this word before, but may not know exactly what it means. So basically, like they can tell what a word function is because they just describe it over x equals to y in this case. And the last one will be polynomial functions, where basically it's something they might have heard because they had experience learning from leadership functions and quadratic functions, which is basically the easy ones polynomial. However, they might not exactly know the actual definition of polynomial because they might have heard it from those two cases, and they might confuse one in this case. So they might put it down as like saying it's a function that has a degree of 0, 1, and 2, which is true, but not always the case for polynomial functions, because polynomial functions can go over 2. So like you have cubic functions, the fourth root, fifth root, as being more degrees in this case. So the student's explanation would be, I heard this term before based on my learning from linear and quadratic function, and it would put the equation or the graph of a quadratic function or a linear function down as their picture or drawing in this case. And this is where the case where they had an idea of what a polynomial function is. So that means the teacher will have to be able to go over more in depth of what a polynomial function is, and maybe more going in depth of how to draw those types of functions. So that way the students will be able to realize the difference between linear functions, quadratic functions, and then the different types of polynomial functions in this case. And then, yeah, and that's the more I did just an example, like there are more types of functions I put down just to be able to see that these are kind of functions that the students will be able to have to define or think that they define. And these are like the cases where this will be happening. Case like they would probably work initially first before we have the discussion, and then go over these types of functions in this case as throughout maybe the use we'll talk about the functions or maybe the lessons as we go through. We're going to talk about each one more depth and then probably help clarify those misconceptions they have for each one. So I hope I hope you'll learn about this strategy. I hope you have better understand how to use the non-grading scale and the vocabulary definition card more carefully in this case.